AtliQ Hardware is a fastest growing company in electronic markets, but the success is a bit of gamble because they are making decisions based on the survey they conducted and some intuitions, and this come to an end when they tried to get into the Latin American market and faced a huge loss. And in the annual strategic meeting, it became clear that they couldn't compete with market giants like Dell, with a competitor which has a huge data analytics team crunching everything from customer demographics to consumption patterns and income level. To survive and thrive, AtliQ had to become a data-driven company. So they have assembled a data analytics team and given them one mission, that's to bring accuracy and transparency to the data and turn the company's intuition into data-informed decisions. AtliQ's core business model starts at their own manufacturing facility, where they produce popular hardware like mouse, printers, and PCs, and these products are then sent to a central data warehouse and shipped to various countries. From there, they reach the end consumer through several channels like retailers, a big player like Chroma and Amazon, and direct their own AtliQ e-store and exclusive retail outlets, and then distributors, partners like Neptune who get the products to smaller local shops. To tackle this challenge, I have taken on this project to show AtliQ how powerful a data can be. For this project, I have used different data sources and connected to Power Query, and I perform data transformations and build data modeling. And the final step is to create a interactive Power BI dashboard that brings all this data into life. It's not about just numbers, it's about providing clear and actionable insights that are helpful for AtliQ Hardware to avoid future losses and make a head-to-head competition with Dell. And now let's dive into the dashboard that we created, and we will explore the insights that we have uncovered. This is the home page of our dashboard. From here you can navigate to finance view, sales view, marketing view, supply chain, and also executive. And I have added this information button here where you can get some extra information. For example, system data such as forecast, actuals, and historical forecast are received from global database, and so on. And I have also added this support button, which is really helpful for the end users. For example, if you are new to Power BI, if you click this button, it will direct you to the official Microsoft page where you can read about the Power BI. And here you can see the last refreshed date, that is Thursday 21 August 2025, and also the sales data loaded until December 21. And now we can move to the finance view. And this is our finance view. In the left side we have filters for each fiscal years, quarters, year to date, year to go, and by region, country, and by stores, and by also product category. And I have also added the abbreviations down there. For example, benchmark, GM, net profit, and so on. And the important thing here is you can set benchmark as last year or as target, which means if you set benchmark as target, you will compare the current year value with the target. If you set benchmark as last year, you will compare the current year value with the previous year value, which means the last year value. And here we have KPI card for net sales, GM percentage, and NP percentage. You can clearly see that our net sales has been increased up to 353% compared to the previous year. My GM percentage and NP percentage is also increased. But when I compared it with the target, now you can see that we didn't even achieve our target in any of these three. That's why comparing with target is very important, because previously when we compare it with the last year, we maybe increase our sales. That is the some reasons of some economic boom in the hardware. Not only our company is growing, our competitor is also growing. That's why it is very important to compare it with target. And in the right side we have this profit and loss statement as a table, and currently we only having target for specific things like net sales, GM percentage, and NP percentage, and also for the fiscal year 2022 only. That's why you are seeing here blank value. If you change the benchmark as last year, now you can see the values. And this is the current year P&L statement value, and this is the previous year value, and this is the change between the both values and the change percentage. And this line chart helps us to break down this profit and loss statement in the monthly basis. Currently it's showing net sales current year and the previous year. You can clearly see that we have significantly increased our net sales in every month compared to the previous year. When you click, for example, when you click GM percentage from this table, now you are breaking down the GM percentage trend in a monthly basis compared to the last year, and also GM percentage is also increased compared to the last year. You can see that clearly in this visual, and you can also set the benchmark as target too. Now you can compare the GM percentage current year with the target you have been setting. And this table helps us to break down this profit and loss statement by region, category, market and product. Currently we are seeing gross margin as our value. If you unselect it, you will see net sales as default in these both visuals. And here you can see that, and obviously we have our target for our market and also for region. So here you can see that AtliQ has not achieved their target in any of the region. When I compare it with the last year, you can see that we have grown massively in every region. If you dig deeper in the APAC region is what generating more revenue to the company. Under APAC, we having our category, we having our market, and that market, India is what generating much more revenue. Overall, compared to every market, Indian market is what generating more revenue to the company. And you can also change the parameter into category, and under category we can have market or product. And now we can see that business laptop, gaming laptop, personal laptop, these are the category. Under that category we having our products. This business laptop, gaming laptop, personal laptop are comes under notebook segment, and notebook segment is what generating more revenue to the AtliQ. When you scroll down, you can see that Wi-Fi extender, USB flash drives, these are the things which are in minus, which means these things are comes under the network segment, and network segment is what not generating that much revenue to the AtliQ company. Above we have our navigation button for every pages, and I have also added the information button and also the support button, which will be really helpful for the end users. And now let's move to our sales view. And this is our sales view. Here we have a table which breaks down the net sales, gross margin percentage, and also GM percentage difference, the change in a relative comparison for customers and also for products. And when you hover over this visual, you will see a tooltip which breaks down the net sales and gross margin percentage trend in a monthly basis. And here we have our scatter plot. In x-axis we have net sales, and in the y-axis we have gross margin percentage, and the bubble size indicates the net sales. And the important feature here is we have this gross margin variance parameter. For example, when I set the variance as 8%, currently I am selecting the customer. Now I am filtering out the customers who are having a 8% gap between their actual gross margin percentage and the benchmark you are setting. It can be a last year, it can be also target. And you can do the same kind of analysis for the product also. When I select customer and sort the table by GM percentage, you can see a customer Novus, which is generating very less GM percentage for the company. It may be a reason because AtliQ is giving them too much discount on a particular product. So when I click Novus, you can see the whole dashboard is interacting. And when I go to product, here you can see for almost every product we are giving to Novus having a GM percentage of around 19 to 21%. I think AtliQ is giving them flat discount on every product. So to solve this, I have created this donut chart. Here you can clearly see that for Novus, we are giving pre-invoice deduction as 30 million and another 30 million as post-invoice deduction. Around 60 million we are giving them as a discount, and from that Novus is generating only 40 million net sales, and that's the problem here. We are giving them too much discount than the net sales they are generating, and this affects our gross margin. You can see from that 40 million net sales, 32 million is going for total COGS and remaining 8 million is what we getting as gross margin. AtliQ need to fix this immediately. They need to stop giving this kind of flat discounts for customers. When I go to customer and Now when I saw the table by net sales, you can see Amazon is generating 500 million net sales for the company. And to get 500 million net sales from Amazon, AtliQ is giving them pre-investment as 258 million and another 246 million as post-investment. AtliQ is giving them 500 million as discount and getting another 500 million as net sales. And these are the main insights from this sales view. Now let's move to the marketing view. And this is a marketing view. Here I have analyzed the market and product performance. If you click this button, for example, if you click market, you will break down these metrics by the markets, and the relevant market will be appear in the scatter plot too. In this scatter plot, in the x-axis we have net sales. In the y-axis, you can perform two different kind of analysis. You can set the y-axis as net profit percentage or GM percentage. You can do the same kind of analysis for the region also. If you look at the region table, you will find out that APAC region is what generating more revenue to the company, and that's the region where the net profit is very low. That's because every company in the initial stage will spend more money on ads and promotions to get the market attention and to gain customer. That's what AtliQ is also doing. If you click APAC region, you can dig deeper here. From APAC region, the gross margin we getting is 690, but the operational expense is more than that. That's why the net profit is very low. And you can also find out a pattern in this table. The more less the net profit percentage is, the more higher the net sales is. Do you remember that AtliQ has opened a new store in Latin America and faced a huge loss? I think I have found out that why here. That's because in Latin America, AtliQ don't spend that much money on advertisement and promotions. If you look at the previous year data, you will get it. That's why when they open a new store in Latin America, they faced a huge loss. And when you click this button and switch to segment, you can perform segment and category based analysis previously how we done in the market. When you go to segment, you can see notebook segment is what generating more revenue to the company, and that's the segment where the net profit is very low, likely due to increased spending in promotions. And for every segment, the gross margin percentage is 38%. And you can also select any segment, and you can also see the details of gross margin and total COGS for that specific segment. And also when you hover over the scatter plot, you will see a tooltip which breaks down the net sales and gross margin trend in a monthly basis. And that's for this view. Let's move to the supply chain view. This is our forecast view where I have analyzed how well our forecast match the actual demand and where we need to improve. Here we have these KPI cards. The forecast accuracy is 81%, which is really good and better than last year. The net error is -3 million, which means we have less stock than really needed. If it is a positive error, it means it is a extra inventory. And the absolute error is 7 million, which is really less than the last year, 9.78 million. And this shows us we are improving our planning and keeping the right amount of stock. And for fiscal 2022, we only having the data up to December 2021. In AtliQ, the fiscal year starts in September and ends in August. If you go to 2020 in fiscal year, here this line indicates the forecast accuracy of previous year, the last year, and this line shows the forecast accuracy of current year. And these bars are net error, which is really helps us to know where it is, whether it is a out of stock or a excess inventory problem. And I have also added these error bars, which will help you to know the net error of the previous year. And here you can see that in March 2020, AtliQ has faced a huge drop in their forecast accuracy, and they are in the problem of excess inventory. That's because of in March 2020, whole world went to the lockdown because of corona. That's why AtliQ has faced this issue. But after that, they started to level up. In the year 2021, they again back to normal, and they don't face any kind of excess inventory problem previously they faced in the fiscal 2020. They only face the out of stock problem in every month, a small. And here we have this two table where he breaks down the forecast accuracy percentage, forecast accuracy last year, and net error percentage, and also the risk, which will help us to know whether a specific customer product is facing a out of stock or extra inventory problem. Here you can see most of the customers like Amazon, AtliQ stores are facing out of stock problem, and some customers like AtliQ stores are facing extra inventory. And when you come to product, you can see networking segment having a high forecast accuracy. And when you go to the fiscal 2020, you can see networking segment has faced a out of stock problem. So we overproduced, and 2021 we have faced extra inventory problem. And these are kind of analysis you can do by the supply chain view. If you look at this visual, at the beginning years, the net error is kind of positive, which means we are facing extra inventory problem. But after that, our net error went to negative, which means we are now facing out of stock situations. This shows that the company is growing and the demand is increasing. We are now moving from managing extra stocks to meeting higher customer needs. And that's for the supply chain view. Now let's move to the executive view. In the executive view, I have combined the important key metrics from the previous view into one single easy to understand dashboard, so that decision maker can get a quick picture at a glance and they can focus on the areas that need attention. Here we have top 5 customers and top 5 product by net sales, and I have breakdown down by revenue contribution percentage and also by the GM percentage. And here this icon indicates that the values compared to the benchmark you are setting. It can be a target or last year compared to the benchmark. Whether it is a increase, you will see a up arrow. If it is a decrease, you will see a down arrow. And in case if it is a blank value, you will see this type of circle. And if it is a 0, you will see this type of symbol. And down here we have each sub-region by important key metrics like net sales, revenue contribution, and net profit, and also risk, and so on. And I have also added the AtliQ market share percentage. And currently we only having the market share data for PC division only. If you look at this visual, you can see our net profit is kind of negative, but our market share started to increase, which means our marketing efforts and promotions are kind of working, and the company is now investing more to grow their presence, and this is really helping us to gain the market share, which you can clearly see in this ribbon chart. Before 2020, AtliQ was kind of nowhere, but after that they started to invest in their promotion and marketing. Their market share started to increase. If you click the fiscal 2022, you can see AtliQ gained around 6% of the market share. And this visual helps us to know which channel and division is generating more revenue to the company. You can see retailers are those generating more revenue, and PC divisions are those generating us more revenue. And that's for this presentation, and thank you for the time for you investing in it.